Hey, welcome to another episode of The Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Before we get into the segment, by the end of this video, I want you to do a few things for me. First of all, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please do. If you don't like it, hit unlike. It's okay. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Sometimes, as Jimmy Dole would say, you find yourself unsubscribed and you need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell right next to it so you can be notified when a new video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. And more importantly, the super chat will be on for this segment, so if you want to donate toward the efforts of Bob TV, that's freely up to you. I do have a job, but any amount will help toward the growth of this channel. And more important, let us help you help us by introducing you to a program. There's a link down below that says Equal Justice for All. You're going to click that video link, and there's some educational tutorial about a phenomenal program in America that is really making equal justice a reality for every citizen. So this program is phenomenal. The proceeds from you participating in the program will go back, 10% will go back into the Bob TV YouTube channel. So anyway, my name is Robert Brown with The Rob Report. Let's get into it.
Blue collar, white collar, black professors, white scholars, politicians, Dalai Lamas. Everybody in the whole wide world need hope if I be honest. I'm in that number.
Hey, good day. Welcome to another episode of Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. And I just did a video about Joe Biden throwing his hat in the race. I couldn't upload any videos today because my internet is down. I could download, but my upload speed is a little slow. But he did it, so no need for me to change the picture. He announced his presidency today.
I don't give a fuck.
That's right. And I don't either, Chris Tucker. I don't either. Problem is, this is a disaster waiting to happen. This is nothing but the male version of Hillary Clinton. His record is just as bad, if not worse, than Hillary Clinton's. We're going to take a look at that today, but oh man, the media was all overjoyed about Joe Biden running for president.
Charlottesville, Virginia is home to the author of one of the great documents in human history. We know it by heart. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. We've heard it so often, it's almost a cliche, but it's who we are. We haven't always lived up to these ideals. Jefferson himself didn't, but we have never before walked away from them. Charlottesville is also home to a defining moment for this nation in the last few years. It was there on August of 2017 we saw Klansmen and white supremacists and neo-Nazis come out in the open. Their crazed faces, illuminated by torches, veins bulging and bearing the fangs of racism, chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s. And they were met by a courageous group of Americans, and a violent clash ensued. And a brave young woman lost her life. And that's when we heard the words of the President of the United States that stunned the world and shocked the conscience of this nation. He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides. Very fine people on both sides? With those words, the President of the United States assigned a moral equivalence between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it. And in that moment, I knew the threat to this nation was unlike any I had ever seen in my lifetime. I wrote at the time that we're in the battle for the soul of this nation. Well, that's even more true today. We are in the battle for the soul of this nation. I believe history will look back on 4 years of this president and all he embraces as an aberrant moment in time. But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation, who we are, and I cannot stand by and watch that happen. The core values of this nation, our standing in the world, our very democracy, everything that has made America America is at stake. That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. Folks, America's an idea that's stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It gives hope to the most desperate people on earth. It guarantees that everyone is treated with dignity and gives hate no safe harbor. It instills in every person in this country the belief that no matter where you start in life, there's nothing you can't achieve if you work at it. That's what we believe. And above all else, that's what's at stake in this election. We can't forget what happened in Charlottesville. Even more important, we have to remember who we are. This is America.
Great ad, Joe. Great ad. Actually, it's not great. Actually, it's very offensive. Your whole campaign, you're going to start off with attacking Trump. You had nothing in that campaign ad about what you're going to do for the American people. The only thing you want to build your campaign on is stopping Trump. And you got to understand, that is what Hillary Clinton campaigned on, because she started Trump and couldn't stop him. And now you want to continue the same bullet point, the cookie cutter, the copy machine of Hillary Clinton, and just put your face on it? This is a disaster waiting to happen. This is 2016 all over again. They're already planning this Stop Bernie Sanders campaign, and that Stop Bernie Sanders campaign at all costs caused Trump to win 2020. It was that. It was not WikiLeaks. It was not the Russian. It was this crap right here. Running a failed candidate, because he is a failed candidate. 2 times he ran, he lost. He had to drop out the race because everybody else was better than him. His mouth get him in trouble more than anything, just like her mouth is. That's all she is. And he thinks just because I don't need Obama endorsement, that mean the millennium is going to give him a pass, that true leftists going to give him a pass. You're not getting no pass, Joe. You're not getting no pass. Now, went on TV and they just started talking about how happy they are for Joe Biden to get into this race. Well, let me go back to the ad. Do you know I can take a video of Charlie Manson in one of his crazy talks, put some inspirational, motivational music behind it? That ain't gonna change the fact that that man is an insane psychopathic killer.
You're talking about dying. Now, it gets me nervous. Did you have any thoughts about something? Was you wanting to go anywhere? I knew I wasn't going to go to the gas chamber because I hadn't done anything wrong. Sometimes I feel I'm scared to live. Living is what scares me. Dying is easy. So I understand myself and I can deal with that. Different colors on different people's backs doing different things. It's a different world. I love the world I live in too, just like Reagan loves the world he lives in. I don't know pain. I have no depth of pain. I have no depth of suffering. I don't know ridicule. I don't know all the bad things. I haven't been punished by you all my life since I was 10 years old. I've been in every reform school you got across the country and used to lay down and have to get my ass whipped till I couldn't walk. Tell me about some pain. Pain's not bad. It's good. It teaches you things. It teaches you things. Like when you put your hand in fire, you know not to do that again. Yeah, I understand that.
So if y'all want to get crazy, we can get crazy.
That he ordered the killings of other people. Just like if Joe Biden, the war hawk he is, he will order the killing of other people. Just like Hillary Clinton, the war hawk she is, ordered the killing of other people. Just like Obama and just like Trump, ordering the killing of innocent people. Still a psychopath. Currently doing genocide in at least 7 countries right now. I mean, war in 7 countries, and a couple of them are pushing genocides, which we're backing with our tax dollars. and Trump himself denied the opportunity to stop funding Yemen, at the Saudis going into Yemen. And you still want to support this punk. That is a punk move. And then you got somebody up here his whole campaign is, we got to stop Trump. You got to have more than that, man. Everybody running is trying to stop Trump, including Bernie. Everybody has that same agenda, Joe. And they got the nerves to say Joe is the only one that can stop Trump. Joe couldn't even make it through the primaries. He was one of the first people to drop out. But let's go take a look at Joe Biden and let's listen to what the media is saying. They're propping this dude up like he's the savior of the world and he's the savior of the Democratic Party. He props himself up saying world leaders are begging me to run to save them from Trump. Man, if anybody, you just as cocky and arrogant as Trump, man. And let's don't go and get in your record. I'm not finished with that. I got a series that I started called Racist Policies of Joe Biden. We're going to go over part 2 soon. But this announcement is not exciting to me. It's not exciting to most people. Most people are not feeling this thing. The only people feeling this is black people who love Obama, who think Joe Biden is going to be an extension of Obama, when Joe Biden is totally opposite from Obama. He's more to the right than Obama was. And Obama was center right. Joe Biden is right. That's why he could tout his love for Republicans and getting along with Republicans. But let's go take a look at this. Give me a minute.
Joe Biden making it official today, hoping his third run for the White House is the charm. It's the latest chapter in the 76-year-old Democrat's long political career. His life started in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where Biden traces back his blue-collar roots.
Everything important in my life that I learned here in Scranton.
His family later moved to Delaware, where Biden first took public office as a county councilor, then a long-shot bid for Delaware's Senate seat, winning at the age of 29. But shortly after that victory, tragedy struck.
I got a phone call. You got to come home. Your wife and daughter just been killed. A tractor trailer broadsided them and killed them. Your sons may not make it.
A grief-stricken Biden considered not joining the Senate, but was sworn in at his son's hospital bedside. The Delaware Democrat commuted to and from Washington each day, often by train. He later married a teacher, Jill Jacobs, and had another daughter.
No man deserves one great love, let alone 2.
Biden went on to serve 36 years in the Senate. Ted Kaufman was Biden's chief of staff for nearly 2 decades, witnessing the highs and lows of his career up close.
He's got character. A lot of character comes with age, but a lot of character comes from being through, incredibly difficult times. So he's very comfortable in his skin.
In 1987, Biden launched his first run for president.
As today, I announce my candidacy for President of the United States of America.
But his campaign tanked after charges of plagiarism. 20 years later, Biden made a second run for the White House, but after a poor showing in Iowa, dropped out again, later landing in a different spot on the 2008 Democratic ticket.
The next Vice President of the United States of America, Joe Biden.
The oftentimes blunt Biden at President Obama's side as vice president for 8 years. The two forged a close friendship, cemented even deeper when tragedy hit a second time.
My father, my hero, the next Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden.
In 2015, Biden's eldest son, Beau, died after a battle with brain cancer.
Beau was my soul. Beau was my conscience.
The grief ultimately impacted his decision on the 2016 race.
Unfortunately, I believe we're out of time, the time necessary to mount a winning campaign for the nomination.
Now, after months of deliberations, Biden is giving a third run for the White House a go. His more than 4 decades-long career is set to face a fresh look, from legislative successes like the Violence Against Women Act.
I wrote that act myself with my own hand.
to his experience on the foreign stage. But other areas of his career will undergo renewed scrutiny, like his role in crafting the 1994 crime bill and his handling of the 1991 testimony of Anita Hill.
Professor, do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
As he prepares to take his frontrunner spot in the Democratic primary field, those closest to Biden say he's ready for the challenge ahead.
When Joe Biden looks in that mirror, he's not going to stop, not do this because it's going to be hard, or he might lose, or anything else. He does it because he won't feel right about himself.
Now, Joe Biden has already earned some high-profile endorsements. His home state Senator Chris Coons from Delaware, he's endorsed him this morning, as well as Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey. Just a few of the high-profile endorsements that they are going to be rolling out in these coming days as they're trying to show these signs of strength for Joe Biden as he's currently the front runner. One big question is...
All right, I can't take it no more. Let me stop. All right, so in this video piece, they prop Joe Biden up as this working class Joe. And it's true, Joe Biden been through a lot of tough times, you know, to lose your wife and child, and then to lose your son later on. And it's been some tough time, but he's not the only person in the world that goes through tough issues. And that's what this is all about. This is about the American people, not Joe Biden. This is about the American people, not Trump. It's not these nutwings in office and who could be better. It's who is going to take care of the American people. Who's really going to sell out to the American people versus themselves. Now, this lady's saying Joe Biden is a front runner. Majority of the polls got Bernie Sanders as a front runner. Joe started dropping in the polls, and that's the reason why he jumped in, and it is true. The man is right. Joe Biden, if he don't run, he'll regret this for the rest of his life. He's doing this to not live with that regret. It's just like the guy who had a chance to go into acting, knew he was good, but never did because his mama told him to go get a job, or his daddy told him to join the military, but he could have had a shot at being an actor. And now he regrets himself. Like Al Bundy syndrome. Hey, Pick, I 5 touchdowns doing all pro, all city pro, whatever. I ran 5 touchdowns in all city, Peg. And that was his shining achievement. Joe don't have to do this. Joe, stellar legacy. Well, I wouldn't say great legacy, but he had been in Congress forever. Nobody's challenged him out of his seat. He's been the vice president. He sat on various committees. He has a successful political life. This is something that he just got to have. He just got to go for. Sound familiar? I just got to go for this. This is mine. This is my shot. I'm the leader of the Democratic Party. No, you not, Joe. So what he's trying to do, he's trying to take his seat as the king of the Democrats because they're afraid of the people. And let's just be straight with it, because they fear Bernie Sanders is going to take that seat. Kamala Harris, is she serious about running? No. The only reason she's running is because she do want to be she's a power hog anyway. She's Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton in a dress with a different skin tone. But let me go into this some more.
Will he be able to maintain that front-runner status through these primaries and get to that general election matchup?
He is not the front runner, lady. This was today at 8:07 a.m. Have you checked those polls? And then again, polls don't mean nothing. Polls don't mean nothing. Endorsements don't mean nothing. I don't care if it's Bernie or Barney, you know, the purple guy on the kids show. I don't care if he endorsed it. I'm not voting for you. Who are you? Your endorsement don't mean crap to me. Oprah can endorse. Don't mean crap. Other people's endorsement don't mean nothing to me. They don't live my life. They don't go through my struggle. So I don't give a crap about somebody's endorsement. President Obama endorsed. Of course, President Obama don't need to endorse Joe. It's an automatically endorsement whether he come out and say it or not. Who else he's going to endorse?
Against President Trump. John and Allison.
All right, Arlette signs for us in Wilmington, Delaware. Arlette, thanks very much. Joining us now to talk about this big moment in the race, David Gregory, CNN political analyst, Jeff Zeleny, CNN senior Washington correspondent, Nia Malika Henderson, CNN senior political reporter, And Jonathan Martin, national political correspondent for the New York Times, also a CNN political analyst. And David Gregory, the news this morning, not just that Joe Biden got into the race. We knew that was coming, but the way that he got in and the message with which he chose to enter the race. We will not forget Charlottesville.
All right, now, let me stop there before they get into this. You know me, I usually call this the breakdown, my version of the breakdown. All right, it's the way he chose. He chose to do it through social media, as if anybody really looked at that crap. Come on. Who looked at that crap? Who was standing all day waiting for Joe Biden to announce his presidency? Nobody was standing around them waiting. Maybe some older people, you know, some of my sisters, my mothers in the church that fell in love with Obama, and automatically Joe Biden is their choice, and they don't, you know, they getting older and they don't care about policies that's going to help people for the next 20. I'm not saying they don't, but you know, this man was supporting our black president, half black, half white president. So him doing it on social media doesn't excite anybody. And the message, this is a horrible start out of the block, horrible start at the gate. Obama had messages at his announcement on running for president that got people attention. It wasn't about race baiting, and it wasn't a shot at who was president. It was about bringing America together, white, black, blue, and red, Democrats, Republican, bringing them together. He talked about transparency in some platforms. Joe Biden didn't mention nothing but Trump and racism, as if that is going to cause people to flood to the polls and vote for him. And majority of Americans, look, let me tell you something. We've dealt with Trumps all our lives, especially the black community. But more important, we've been dealing with racism all our life. Charlottesville is not the pillar. That's not alarm to let us know that racism exists, maybe to some other coaches, but not to ours. We don't think about Charlotte because we done had millions of Charlottes. There's still people lynching today, but you won't hear about it in the news. There's still people getting murdered. They just recently shot a boy who was hanging out with his girlfriend in the car, and it was 2 black cops. All because the car fit the so-called description of the car that was stolen, and it was the boy, and it wasn't the car. So come on with this stuff, man.
He says the soul of the nation is at stake.
Right, and I think that was using this iconic moment of Charlottesville as a cudgel against.
Oh, it looked like he about to, orgasm now. The iconic symbolism of Charlottesville. Charlottesville is not an iconic. Most people don't forget about Charlottesville. I mean, we ain't forget, but we know that this is normal. My community know this is normal. Charlottesville is not a pillar that things are getting bad. No, things been getting bad with us for a while because we deal with this racism every day. Every day. From the job all the way to walking home in the street when some cop just jump out the car, throw you on the ground, grind your face in the middle of the cement, and put their knee on the back of your head, all because you got on jeans and a t-shirt. So spare me with this Trump is horrible, soul of America, and Charlottesville. We need hope messages, man. Not the fear of Trump, not the fear of racism. That is what happened in this 2016 election, and we don't need that again. That is a recipe for failure.
Against President Trump, saying to primary voters that this is who Trump is, that we have to take the fight to him, and that Trump is counter to what America is. So it wasn't about personal biography. People know who Joe Biden is and what he's been in politics. And it was also a message designed to reach out to the progressive wing of the party, to minority voters, to young.
All right. Yo, David Gregory, I see why you lost your job, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Let me use heaven, too. In heaven, you're talking about, too, because a lot of people say, you're supposed to be Christian. Hell is in the Bible. It's not a bad word. All right? It's a bad place, but not a bad word. This is why David Gregory is not on Meet the Press and Chuck Todd with his, Chuck, I I take the H out when it comes to his name. But here you talking about that this message resonate with progressives who is taking over the party, slowly but surely taking over. Come on, dude. They ain't thinking about that. They thinking about how I'm going to deal with, I can't even get a job because my credit bad because I barely can pay my student loan. They talking about that. They're in debt right now. They can't even purchase a house. They can't even go get a checkup or colonoscopy or whatever because the bill is too high. Come on, nobody's, that's not a major idea in the forefront. Trump bad and he supports racism. So do a lot of you Democrats. You're bad and you support racism too. You got to stop pulling this race card when it comes to winning elections. I mean, you're going to be dealing with racism, deal with it on all four fronts. Don't try to tag it to a party and don't try to tag it to a person. It exists in both parties. It exists everywhere through all kinds of people. Even black people are oftentimes racist of other people. And I know black people don't want to believe that. Black people believe they can never be racist. Let me tell you something. If you don't like another race for various reasons, that makes you a racist. Whether you like it or not, unsubscribe me, I don't give a crap, but it is true.
Socially conscious voters to say, this is what matters. Questions about race baiting, about immigration, that's where we have to define this race. And that even though Biden, doesn't represent the future, right? You always think about going forward in politics, not backward. He's essentially saying, I am uniquely qualified to get off the bench and stop the madness of Donald Trump as president. And as David Axelrod said in the...
Now, my question is, do he figure that he is uniquely qualified when his policies are downright white supremacist policies, racist policies?
Last hour, if there's a stature gap here, he wants to exploit that, to immediately become the front runner, to suggest, look, I can do this, it's me, Joe Biden, and then there's everybody else in the Democratic field.
Yeah, so Jonathan Martin, there was reporting that behind the scenes, his team was trying to debate what their first video would look like, what the message would be, and it seems as though they decided to go for the jugular with going right to the Charlottesville images.
And it's a bad
we had
idea.
A story on Tuesday night reporting that one of his new ad people, who's known for his creative spots, for example, he did the MJ Hager spot, which you guys have seen, of course, on the air. Mark Putnam created kind of a Scranton Joe video showing Biden at his old house in Scranton. And that was more biographical in nature. That didn't go over that well with the Biden team and Biden himself. They wanted something that was more in this moment. And Biden is passionate about the events in Charlottesville, and he's been consumed with this for the last couple of years, plugging John Meacham's book.
All right, see, this is why Biden can't get my vote, man, because was he passionate about Michael Brown? Was he passionate about Trayvon Martin? Was he passionate about all these people who got hunted down by cops and hunted down by fake wannabe cops? He's just sticking to the fact that they had this white supremacist rally, and then they came out to march and they clashed with Antifa. And you're talking about some courageous people. Let me tell you something. There's agitators everywhere, and agitators agitate, okay? All right? You're going to have some people that doesn't mean well, and not just on the idiot side, but on the so-called I'm on team good side. You got a few agitators in there too. But going back to what I'm saying, this is not the right strategy to run for office, man. And we tried that in 2016, and it was an utter failure.
At every turn around the country the last year. And that's why they ran this spot that was created by Mike Donilon, his longtime advisor, that gets at what Biden is really passionate about.
Advisor.
But that also doubles as something else, guys, and that is going over the Democratic primary nitty-gritty and focusing his party's voters on what they are most consumed with, which is Trump and beating Trump. And it also has the added effect of saying this is not a normal election, because if it was a normal election, he wouldn't be an obvious candidate. His whole case is this is a national emergency campaign, and that's why you need me in this moment.
We need.
It's the same campaign of 2016. They're doing whatever they can to make sure it go back to the same old cookie cutter, because it's the same thing. Hillary thought she was best to beat Trump, and she was not. What makes Joe Biden think he's best? Because he was the VP and she was the Secretary of State. It's the same bullet point. Make Trump look, go after Trump, shame Trump, call him a racist, call him a sexist, all this S, instead of going to the American people and saying, look, life is more than Trump. Sure, our goal is to defeat Trump. But look, understand that you got personal issues in your life. Trump ain't got nothing to do with that. Right now, you can't pay your bills. Right now, your housing is messed up because different laws and policies have allowed your landlord to jack up the rent. Different policies have been put in place to cater toward corporate housing, which is called affordable housing, built by corporations, versus public housing. I'm trying to get you into affordable housing. I'm trying to get you to the point where you don't have no student debt. I need you to put your money into the economy. I'm trying to get you to the point where you don't have to worry about your bills. That way you can continue to work your job and do whatever you feel like you're doing. I'm for UBI, but not at the expense of taking away social programs. I'm saying all these policies are great. Put it on one ticket and let's go for it all without taking away anything. But no, Joe ain't talking about that. Is Trump bad? Racism bad? I'm good. I'm not a racist. And Joe record shows he is a racist in his legislation. You don't have to be a racist person hollering out racist name and hating black people, but your record and your policies can be racist too.
To win, I'm the guy who can win. It's a pretty simple message. Jeff Zelenick, you've got some fresh reporting from an interesting aspect of this. Now, it was not in that video. Joe Biden didn't wrap himself in the Obama presidency, but it is an area where there are people think he can make inroads, saying it was the Obama-Biden administration. What is Team Obama saying this morning?
Well, there's no question that Joe Biden is in this moment because he was Barack Obama's running mate for 8 years, his partner for 8 years. And he was indeed a very active vice president, in the room for every major decision, in charge of key pieces of the portfolio. One thing that we're not going to see today, of course, is an endorsement from the former president. For one, it probably wouldn't work anyway. We saw in 2016 Barack Obama barnstorm the country for Hillary Clinton.
All right, so he gets endorsement anyway. That's his boy. That's his vice president. Obama don't need to come to a stage and say, I endorse Joe Biden. It's automatic, dude. Who else is he going to endorse? Felix the cat? Come on, man.
And that didn't work. So endorsements have limited value, and in this case, perhaps even more so. Barack Obama, I'm told, has had several conversations with Joe Biden. They know that he has to win this. Joe Biden has to win this on his own. But he did sort of issue a statement through a spokesperson this morning praising Joe Biden and saying it was the best decision he ever made as a running mate. Now, as we go forward here, there's no question. I was talking to an advisor to Joe Biden who said what he's trying to do, as Jonathan was saying, is shake the conscience here and refocus the debate that there is one thing that this 2020 election is about. It's not about Medicare for all, not about the Green New Deal, not about inmates voting. It is about defeating Donald J. Trump.
And that is where you're going to get defeated, because it is about Medicare for all. It is about the Green New Deal. It is about no-cost education. And yes, and now it is about reparations for American descendants of slaves, because that is a point that is definitely going to take away the black vote for any person running for office, in the primaries. So you're not going to push these things that the people need out the way. Like I said, I'm not for either or. I need it all. UBI, reparation, I want it all. My tax dollars go to pay for this stuff. I want it all. And you should want it all too. Okay, well, ADOS get the reparations. Okay, but the Democrats is trying to hijack this progressive stomp, this progressive direction, and bring it back to corporatism and bring it back to two things, racism and Trump. And they tried that because Hillary Clinton was not talking progressive politics. She talked about defeating Trump, Trump bad, racism bad, Trump is a sex and all that, and it didn't work. So why, you dumb idiots? Why do you think it's going to work again? And why are you trying to hijack it and steer it back in that direction? The more I think about this, the more pissed off I get about him getting in this race. It's selfish, it's egotistical, just like the last person who ran for office. The people need a fresh start. And guess what? Republicans who you may need to win the election in the general, they're not going to be focusing on stop Trump and racism. They also are polling well, and I usually tell people don't focus on the polls, but they want health care. They want to be able to eliminate the student debt loan. They want progressive policies. They're not on that. And another segment, which makes the decision of every election, is the independents. The independents are not going to jump on that message, Joe. So you got the Republicans not going to jump on that message. The independents not going to jump on that message. The progressives not going to jump on that message. A lot of blacks, they ain't going to jump on anything if you're not talking reparations. So how do you think you're going to win this thing with that dumb message? There's more than life than defeat Trump, and you got a lot of people that their mind is so deranged with the Trump derangement that they don't understand that you're replacing the message that needed to win with a message that supposed to just save Democrats. The world, the United States, and the people of the United States, life is more to them than Trump. Life is more to them than a Charlottesville incident. They got other things that's more serious.
So that is what Joe Biden is trying to do today. Of course, he can't hit the fast forward button through this primary, but he's trying to reframe and refocus Democratic voters on the big picture here. Yeah. And change comes in many ways. Change could be a younger candidate, a female president, or it could be change from what the current situation and station is. And that is what the Biden folks hope he can deliver for change. But for all the talk today about how he's going after Trump, he still has to go on the campaign trail. And Joe Biden's biggest challenge often has been Joe Biden.
And yeah, it's such an interesting time, right? So if Joe Biden is going to be the change agent, he's.
Did you see what's his name, David Gregory face? Man, these news people just get on my last nerves.
76 years old, people have known him for decades, and in the most diverse field we've ever seen. But, who knows what voters want? I mean, because in the polls, they often say that their top thing is who can win.
That's right. I think that is what they want. In the polls we've seen so far, and again, it's early, Biden has had a pretty steady lead there, in the upper 20s, 28, 30% or so. And you've got Bernie Sanders in there as well. And that, of course, comes from some name ID. But it also, again, I think comes from what a lot of people think, which is that Joe Biden has the stature. He has the record. He obviously has the Obama connection.
Again, this Monmouth University poll is one of the weakest, wackest polls that they ever use. They're not looking at the major polls. They're not looking at whatever polls in Iowa or whatever, which pretty much put Sanders in the forefront. They went to Monmouth University, CNN, and they took the survey. They only surveyed 300 freaking people, and they're gonna make this a representation of the nation. Don't be fooled by so-called early state polls. Monmouth University, I think, is in New Jersey, and you're going to poll 300 people from this. Now, look at it. You got Monmouth University, you got St. Elzem College polls. They're going to these elite university polls, and they're only polling a few people for this. Okay?
as well to go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump. And you see in that video, that's essentially what he's saying, that he has the character to go and make the case against Donald Trump, who he's saying doesn't have the right character, doesn't embody the American spirit in the way that Joe Biden is arguing that he does.
Now, you get some time, you go take a look at that yourself. Now, I'm going to get into one more video and then I'm done. But this is a bad idea. This is a bad strategy. First of all, if you go back and look at my dumb DNC mistakes, it's a playlist on YouTube. I look like I'm going to have to bring that back because it looked like they're running a dumb playlist. Everything I talk about in that dumb DNC play is just wrong. Pandering for votes, running a failed candidate, a bona fide liar, a person with a bad record. That guy right there, horrible record. Y'all understand how bad that crime bill was that to this day it still affect the black community. It was pretty much lightweight genocide on the black community. And then on top of that, you're going to do the welfare reform that forced people into crime because they couldn't find jobs. And of course, they're going to do whatever they need to do to take care of their family. It was a systematic formula that the government used, which Joe Biden was pretty much part of crafting it, one of his greatest legislators. He worked that one with his own bare hands too. That decimated the black community. And to this day, kids don't have fathers because their fathers got killed in the drug war. They got killed because of these crime bill policies. They end up going to jail for 1, 2, 3 strikes and standing next to somebody with some weed. And this is the guy that people are cheering about for president. This is when it comes to crime, Joe Biden is more right than Trump is on crime. Trump is more left on crime than Joe Biden. Now that's sad. That is sad. And the more I think about it, he is coming in this race to hijack the narrative, to get it off what we're going to do for the people and what I'm going to do for the people. I'm going to stop Trump and I'm going to bring this country back to the ideal of America, which was founded on racism, Doc. The ideal of Americanism was founded on racism. We're the biggest, we're the biggest terrorists in the world. We push racism like I don't know what on other countries, and we colonize and take and steal and pillage and rape more lands than anybody in the world. And you want to represent that country. Do you have a plan to stop us from doing that? Are you willing to stop the wars? What is your policy, Joe? Before I go, let's take a look at something. Let me go take a look at this. What is your policy, Joe? All right, so this is Joe Biden's campaign site. This is the beginning. I'm Joe Biden and I work for you. It's time to respect leadership on the world stage. As if you the one can bring respect to the world stage. Man, I believe Cory Booker got a better chance than you do on bringing respect to the world stage. And dignified leadership at home. How you going to bring dignified leadership when the marks of what you did is still affecting the black community today? It's time for equal opportunity. It's time for equal rights. Really, Joe? We want to go there on equal rights? Because I'm going to go there soon. Equal justice. Really, Joe? Equal justice? Equal justice. You don't know what equal justice is, Joe. But we're going to visit that soon, too. It's time for an economy that rewards those who actually do the work. Joe, you and Obama kiss Wall Street behind so much. You can't kiss Wall Street behind and kiss the working class behind at the same time. Your name is not Wall. I don't know where they come up with this lie that you're working class Joe. No, you're Wall Street Joe. It's time for an economy that rewards those who actually do work. Yeah, rich people, right? It's time for a president who will stand up for all of us. Yeah, the corporate interests, right? The military contract, because that's who you stand up for, Joe. That's who you stand up for. So they want me to put my email and name. Ain't no way in heaven or hell I'm giving y'all my information. And I'm not giving you $1 because you're automatically going to be on the debate stage because your name Joe. Now you look at his front page. Our best days are still ahead. It looked like still lie ahead. All I see is our best day is still lies. And it's coming ahead. Look at how much he's asking for donations, man. $5 to $500. Our country's being put to the test, but I've never been more optimistic. You sound like Obama, man. That stuff don't work no more, man. All right, then they got his story. They got his vision. Let's see. American is an idea. That's the vision, right? This country wasn't built by Wall Street bankers and CEOs and hedge fund managers, but you asking them for donations, Joe. You asking them for donations. Okay, let's see. Restoring the basic bargain for American workers, guaranteeing every American the skills and education they need to get ahead, making sure peace of mind and health insurance. Here we go. Health insurance is a right, not a privilege. We don't want health insurance. Tackling climate change. So what? Reforming the criminal justice system. So what he's going to try to do is try to make himself look like a progressive. He is not progressive. Events. All right, so you got some events coming up. Okay, they probably offer free hot dogs and soda to get people to come out. All right, let's see what else we got, Joe Biden. All right, store, merch, the Joe Biden pen. I want that stuff, man. A couple Joe. Joe 2020. Join the team? Hell no. In Spanish? No. YouTube channel. Let's go see what does YouTube look like. And there's his campaign ad. All right, so I'm done with this. All right. In summary, Joe Biden announcing he's running for president. This is Bob TV take. You ain't got to take my take. It's elitist. It's arrogant. It's cocky. You feel like it's owed to you just like Hillary Clinton. You even step back to let Hillary Clinton get her shot. And I know you're like, if she mess up, boy, I'm running. It's my turn. I knew she wasn't going to be able to beat him. I'm the only one could beat them. The world is asking for me to run so I can get Trump out because they can do better with me than Trump. They can get the same thing, just a prettier face and without the threats. That's all it is. The point is, and this is the point that pisses me off with this. Number one, you think it's owed to you. Number two, you're cocky thinking that you're the only person that can defeat Trump. That's cocky and that's arrogant. Number three, you don't like Bernie and you know you don't like Bernie. And all you corporate Democrats are planning to derail Bernie Sanders again. And my issue with Bernie is he's just enough of a punk to lay down and let it happen. I know you're getting mad. No, don't get mad. I'm talking about when it comes to standing up against this stuff. He didn't stand up against the Reagan in 2016 and call him out and look like they're going to do it again, and he's not calling it out. Trump was bold enough to call them chumps out. And that's why people went to him, because he wasn't afraid to get in those Republican faces and say, I feel like they're going to cheat me, and I'm telling you, if you cheat me, I'm running independent. They didn't want that. Bernie ain't got the guts to do that yet. Or do he? I don't think he do. If he did, he would have did it last time. Oh, I'm not going to do that because it because it could lead to Trump. You sat there and kissed Hillary Clinton behind and traveled and did everything you could for her, along with Obama, along with Biden, along with Michelle Obama and everybody else in the world, Panetta and all them nutcases, and you still got Trump. Why? Because of this stupid failed strategy of turning the narrative and making it all about Trump and racism instead of keeping it about doing for the American people. We don't need you to be our savior, Joe. We don't need you to stop us from the evil villain called Trump. This ain't X-Men. This ain't the Avengers. We don't need that. You are not Captain America, and you're not going after Heidenreich or whatever it is. This is real life. We need more than just defeating Trump. If you don't stick with what progressives are pushing, of course, you know I'm always there at reparations on top of that meat sandwich. If you go and derail this position that America is going for the sake of you, for you, you're willing to hijack this campaign and keep it about, I'm the only one who can defeat Trump because he's a racist, he's bad, he's horrible. If you're going to hijack the campaign on that message and not talk about the issues that America need, including Republicans and independents, then we don't need you, Joe. This is horrible. The moment Joe started going down this path, his popularity is going to go down just like Hillary Clinton. And the only way, and they're going to fight like tooth and toenail in hell to rig this thing to keep him in the race like they did Hillary. Right now, Bernie Sanders got more power than the DNC, the DCCC. You know, he has more money. He got more foot soldiers. He reached across more demographic. That's why I say don't pay these funky polls no mind. He reached out to all demographics. And even though I'm not a supporter of Bernie Sanders, like I said, I'm not supporting nobody right now. We still got some time. My leaning probably green, voting green again. Because they believe a lot of what I believe in. And I'd rather support somebody. I would rather use my precious vote, giving it to somebody to help them grow their organization than waste it by not voting at all. That's just me. If you don't want to vote, that's your American right, man. I mean, I tell people, if people don't want to vote, you can't get mad at them. Give them a reason to vote. And if people don't vote for you, don't get mad at them. Give them a reason to vote for you. It's never them, it's you. Me, I just know there's other people out here that support what I do, and they're trying to grow their organization, and I'm going to support them. But right now, I'm not supporting anybody. And Bernie Sanders cannot get my personal support until he deal with election fraud, until he call out audibly for ranked choice voting, until he call out audibly in this election paper ballots. Now, he can't entertain my vote until he start talking about reparations and a cash payment. Don't talk to me. Until he make at least ask Nina Turner to be his vice president. That's just my personal thing. Don't hate me. You can hate me. I don't give a crap. But back to this story. And I'm going to name this Biden's Selfish Ambitions for 2020. He wants to take this, he wants to bring the Democratic Party into the fear of Trump again and the fear of the big bad racist narrative. He do not want it to be about the policies. Why? Because he can't beat Bernie Sanders on the policies. He only can beat Bernie Sanders on the fear of Trump. Hillary Clinton couldn't beat Bernie Sanders on the policies. She beat him on the fear of Trump. At the same time, Democrats rigged this to make sure she stayed in the race and have the edge over Sanders, and they're going to do the same thing to Joe Biden. This is the Democratic Party, once again, doing selfish things for their party instead of for the people by bringing in Joe Biden and setting this up to do the same thing they did for Hillary Clinton. That's all this is. This is 2016 all over again, and I'm telling you, fool me once, shame on me. I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me again, twice, shame on me. You're not going to fool me, because I know exactly what you're doing, and I ain't buying it. And from this point forward, I will call it out. I will speak about it, and I will broadcast how Joe Biden used his selfish ambition to become president to derail a campaign for the people and by the people. It's all about me, 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 me. Not about you. I don't need somebody to save me from a funky villain. I got to fix myself I can knock him out with. I need somebody that's going to really push things to help my community with policies, not fear. I'm Rob Brown with the Rob Report. I'll let you later.